Andy MacPhail's making the trip. He'll be here for these and on to San Diego. Andy, of course, in the process of looking for a new manager and looking to improve the ball club. We had a chance to talk with him before the ball game and asked him initially just how tough this season has been on him.
It's been tough. You know, losing like this really sucks a lot of the energy out of you and the team. You know, it's difficult. You wake up and you had another loss. But you got to try to keep in mind what your true goals are. Try to take those small victories where you can find them. And despite the fact that our record is really as horrific as it is, there have been some signs, mostly around the pitching, that I find encouraging. It's nice to have Arrieta come up and make a start against the Yankees the way he did. I'm happy the way David Hernandez has made the adjustment to the bullpen. I've been happy with the way Alfredo Simon came on when he was healthy and closed 6 out of 7 for us when we were really in pretty tough shape. Jason Birkin has threw well out of the bullpen, and I can see if when Jimmy Johnson gets back healthy, Mike Gonzalez, Koji, and some of the arms we got coming up through the system, I actually see more encouraging things about the pitching. My concern, Gary, is more along the offense. You know, we're not scoring near enough runs. We got to give other aspects of our game some breathing room. If we're going to rely on keeping our opponents to 2 or 3 runs before we have a chance of winning a game, it's going to be tough the rest of the go. So we got to find a way, start being more productive with runners in scoring position. That's been something that has dogged us from opening day right up through today. We just need to be a little more productive, whether we got to relax and not press or you know, do more to compete in those situations. I'm not sure what the answer is, but we definitely need to try to do something to stimulate the offense.
And Andy, you've talked about trying to personnel changes if necessary in order to do those kind of things. Does that start now as we approach the trading deadline?
Well, actually, we've had conversations prior to now on those, you know, as every club will. You know, it probably comes no surprise to our audience that the people they want are the people that are being productive for us, which is just common sense. And even that, we would have to consider if we thought we were really doing some long-range good for our club. But if they think they're just going to get him on a salary dump, then we would certainly not do anything of that nature. So those conversations are ongoing. You're also trying to monitor how your AAA club is doing in terms of who might be swinging the bat that's helpful on the horizon. And you're going to start looking at other clubs, extra guys that might get squeezed out of position that you think are an upgrade over what we have. So that process is always ongoing, even when it's in April and May and June.
The other process ongoing is obviously the managerial search that you said maybe this year, maybe next year, off season, you don't know. Can you give us the outline of what a manager would look like? I'm not talking about an individual now, but the outline of what the manager will look like that you're looking for.
Well, we'll go through several interviews, and you've got to allow yourself the opportunity in those interviews to be persuaded where maybe you thought you weren't. But with that said, and going into the interviews, I think we'll put a high value on experience. You know, if you look at the composition of our roster, we're going to have a lot of young players on that club next year as well that really haven't been through anything like this. So I think someone that has been through there is certain that's an added plus in their on their side, that they have managed before, hopefully successfully, hopefully in the postseason. Those are things that will be valued, but you wouldn't interview somebody unless you thought they had a reasonable chance of getting the job, and you've got to allow yourselves to be surprised occasionally if somebody comes on and makes a case that maybe you weren't anticipating.
And there is no time frame on this.
No, I think, you know, if you really think about it, there are pluses and minuses to doing things sooner as opposed to later. And we're still sorting through those. You try to make a judgment as to when it makes the most sense for you, when the most names are going to be out there that are going to be attractive. I don't see anything that is going to be soon, though. I mean, I would be very surprised if anything happened between now at the All-Star break at the very earliest. I mean, there are several other candidates that we need to talk to out there. And the other thing is, quite honestly, Gary, you learn something when you go talk to these guys. You learn about the perception of your club and your organization. You pick up different things already. There have been a couple things that I think have been pretty interesting to me to keep in mind. Always getting a fresh perspective is a positive thing.